Hey everybody, Chris here, and today's episode is brought to you by IDEO. Equip yourself with repeatable, practical frameworks developed by IDEO, empowering your organization to continuously innovate and confidently navigate future challenges. IDEO's courses are built for action, so you can go from learning to doing fast. Apply new skills right away and make real progress. Class starts soon, so enroll today. For a limited time, IDEOU is offering 15% off site wide. So go to IDEOU.com /make it. That's IDEOU.com /make it for 15% off. One more time, IDEOU. So that's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. And now on to the show. He's so hot right
Uh,
now.
So hot right
I wish
now.
It's so hot.
I wish I knew how to turn down the volume on this.
All right, all right. So
Going
how am I from
going
here,
into
PB?
my
Am I better?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Make It Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Barkley.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Bucks. Great to be here. Good to see you.
And with us on this journey, Nick, welcome. With us on this journey, per usual, is producer Papa Bear. Producer Papa Bear, say hello.
Hello.
Whoa.
Hello.
There is a little bit of effect you have. Maybe it's the room you're sitting in, but that was pretty. That felt
Very
like
hollow room.
that felt like the call of Zeus
No, it
down
felt like walking
upon.
into the Keebler elves' home.
What is that like, Nick? Expound.
Hey,
Expound on your
you heard that,
experiences at
right?
the Keebler Elf home.
My man said hello, and it goes up to the ceiling, right? I mean, if you think about it, they
Mm.
live in a tree, but it's a
Mhm.
hollow tree.
It's a hollow
So
tree.
you get that echo, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But the excitement that they have to see you, that's what he sounded like. He sounded like a Keebler elf
Yeah.
telling me hello when I walked into his house. That's what I'm saying.
What happened to the elves? They used to be big time, and I wonder if they were eliminated by AI bots,
Ooh.
by AI
What about
prompts.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop?
Where are these elves? Where is Snap, Crackle, and Pop? Right? When did they go out of style? Was it their outfits? Was it the fact that people couldn't accept men wearing those hats anymore? Like,
Oh,
what
man.
is it about? Yeah, things move on, I guess. But Captain
Hey,
Crunch
Where
is
is-
still here.
what about this? Tell me about this. What's up with Cinnamon Toast Crunch? How can they have the Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal eating itself? Like, why is that a thing? Like now they're like you know what I'm saying? And now they got commercials where the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is like reflecting on the fact that
Yes.
he loves eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's like,
Yeah.
what's happening? Is this the anti-hero of cereal? I don't know.
That's why they put it on the top shelf.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's the
So kids
bane.
can't reach it.
No,
He's the-
Cinnamon Toast Crunch
he's
is
the
on the
bane
bottom
of
shelf, man.
cereals.
All that sugar in there, they making that fully accessible. It's the Raisin Bran that they put on the top shelf. That's what's
Well,
up there.
At my age, I'm wanting to know where Tony the Tiger went to.
Oh, hey man,
I
they're
don't think he went anywhere. I think
great.
I think Tony the Tiger's
He
still
is.
around. He's still inspiring children to
Oh,
go
and
reach their
and
dreams
adults
and reach for
my
more.
age. That's
Hmm.
right. Yeah.
Reach for more every day and just go out there and do it. Now he
It's
didn't
just
have
the commercials,
pants,
bro.
He didn't have
Yeah, but
pants, right?
Yeah, it's just the commercials though. Like we missed that. We don't
Mhm.
have those commercials. Like everything now is just you got to skip that, man. And what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Commercials? Skip that. But back in the day, they had to make the commercials like fun and interesting.
Yeah. It just depends on what they're talking. Like, I think it's funny that Tony the Tiger didn't need pants, but Smokey the Bear needed suspender overalls, or we would have been
Oh,
offended.
because he was
Is
legit.
it because he's brown?
He was an officer of the law.
It's because he's a
That's
Negro.
why. He's an officer of the law.
He had to have a
needed
uniform.
pants and exactly.
Yeah, he had to have
a uniform.
He had to be a credible source of information. Unlike us, we're like so far on this podcast, we are avatars of chaos. As it right now,
Avatars of Chaos.
Yeah, we should be.
Sounds like a cool short film.
We should be undressed completely. We don't deserve our uniforms right
No,
now. But
make
we
it,
but we do listen.
not naked.
Make it not naked. We do have just a lot of interesting things on our mind for this indie talk. Now, this is the indie talk. No guest today, guys. Indie talk number 98. Wow, that's pretty awesome. If I have my
Wow.
numbering right, but it seems like there's a lot of topics like Nick we could delve into, like F1, Apple's biggest film, box office wise of all time. We could delve into that. We could delve into the opening weekend for Jurassic Park, which has already hit over 300 million, I think, which is insane. But the thing that seems to be driving everyone in every way, we could talk about Diddy, by the way,
Mm,
right? Like,
I guess.
I've never heard so many people upset that a man was found guilty of two other things because they wanted the whole jail dropped on his ass. But
Well, in the opposite, you had the people who are out there pouring baby oil on themselves because they were
I haven't
Diddy
seen this. Tell me
supporters.
about it. Talk to me about
They're
this.
outside the
Editor Kate,
courtroom.
find me some video of people pouring baby on themselves
Yeah, they're outside the
and put it in here.
courtroom doing that
I
in
don't believe
support
it.
of Diddy.
Really?
Oh, it's crazy. Yes.
Damn, I gotta see this, man. I have not seen
I didn't
this.
realize there were Diddy supporters until this recent thing. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they weren't coming out until this verdict was about to come out. This whole time, it's been like months, year
Yeah.
even. You've not heard anybody saying or claiming they're a Diddy supporter. And then all of a
No,
sudden, you
I
got
don't
like
believe you. I
days
didn't
before the
believe you about
verdict.
the
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't believe me either. So that's why Kate's gonna find it and put it in there. You're gonna see these fools out there
yeah.
pouring baby oil on themselves in support of Diddy.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's all I
yeah,
gotta
for
say
sure.
about
And
that.
just so people know, we're recording this on the week of we're recording this on July 8th. So when you hear this, some of this news for us is a little bit more fresh than it will be for you. But we could talk. Some of this stuff is evergreen. Like, the whole that whole case brought up people's frustration and interest and condemnation of R. Kelly. It brought up Michael Jackson talk again, right? Like, how did R. Kelly get 31 years in a RICO case by himself? And, I think people would say that his crimes were lesser than Diddy's when we see him on the surface. I don't know if that's true. I know that Diddy comes off as like a creepier, sort of weirder, more evil guy, right? Than R. Kelly. But the actual crimes, you might have to pump your brakes, right? Like R. Kelly has some serious stuff that he got away with, and he's got some serious stuff that he was convicted of. And then I've been on the record for a while saying I don't think Michael Jackson did any of that stuff. So it does provide for, I guess, somewhat of an evergreen conversation about where we're at in society, because the thing that got me that nobody's talking about is that his son released an EP a day before the verdict. So was he just releasing that on faith? And he's got a song in there called Diddy Free. Does he can't rap, by the way. At least right
Wait a
now,
second. Wait a second.
he's got to
Wait a
keep working
second.
on his craft.
Whose son is this?
Diddy's son. Sorry, his name is
Okay,
King Combs.
hold on a second. So you said Diddy's son
Mhm.
has a song on his EP called Diddy Free, not Free Diddy.
Yep.
So you're telling me he's celebrating a life without Diddy? Like that's what
Could
that track
be.
is about?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, he could
I'm
be like,
Diddy
I'm Diddy. I'm
free.
Diddy free.
Yeah, I'm Diddy free. You
But
know me.
unfortunately, when
I'm
you hear the
Diddy
lyrics,
free.
you realize it's just in a bonic twist. Unfortunately.
Oh, I see. That's sad.
Unfortunately,
That's
when
sad.
you hear the
I don't know,
song,
man.
you
But,
realize.
people talking
But he did
about
it the day
like,
before. How do you know?
yeah. But people are talking about
We live
like you
in
just
we live
said,
in
like you just
these
said, like
weird
the times
times,
that we're
man.
in, but we lived in them. The weird times
No
is the
Epstein
fact that
lists.
the fact that these people
No
are
one did anything.
actually being
What
prosecuted.
list?
That's the
No, what
weird
list?
thing. That's the weird thing, that they're actually being prosecuted. This stuff has been going on since the dawn of time.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
question is, like, why did they come after R. Kelly? Why did they come after Diddy? You talking about this whole Diddy trial, man? I have not heard nary a person, not a single one, talking about the allegations or the supposition, if you will, of The drugs and the baby oil. Like nobody's talking about it. They said that baby
That's what
oil
you
was
were all about. You were all
laced,
about the drugs. You were all about this
laced.
idea that he was
I'm just
lacing
saying,
baby oil,
if they,
and
that's what
that
they
was
said they
what
were doing.
hurt Albie Shore, right?
Well, that's no. Albie Shore was poisoned, and like all the other people who died of pneumonia. I won't even get into that. But what I'm
Hmm.
saying is that was the discussion: is that the baby oil was laced with some sort of drug,
Mm-hmm.
and if that was the case, then why did they not try him on drugging? Who knows? Thousands of people at these parties. He had
Mm-hmm.
gallons upon gallons of this stuff, and is not part of the conversation. That's just
I
weird
think
to
the
me.
baby oil. I think the baby oil
That's just
was part of
weird.
the conversation, but I think the drugging of the baby oil didn't stay in the
Well, that's
limelight
the point.
enough.
The baby
Yeah.
oil is not important at a freak off, man. It's the fact that you put this off stuff on people that had a drug in it that maybe prevented them from getting out of there, right? Basically took away their free will. That's the idea. So if there was a drug that did something to them, that, in my opinion, I guess I don't even know if it's my opinion. That's illegal. You're right. You
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
someone a substance against their will that would take their free will away, and yet it wasn't part of the conversation. I didn't hear it. And maybe they decided there was nothing in that baby oil. I don't know. But it's just curious
Well,
to me that that wasn't part of it.
I think the
Yeah.
bigger
These are.
question is, where does baby oil come from?
See, I knew you were gonna go there, man. I'm like this.
Talk about illegal. I mean, to take a baby's oil.
Yeah. Yeah. Where
No,
does
no, 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 don't get no. I don't want
Papa
to be
Bear? Do
censored.
they just wring the
I don't want
babies
to be
out like a
censored. No,
towel?
blah 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 blah.
And maybe it's healthy. I mean,
Do they just wring
that's
the
what
baby out like a
it's
wet
just
towel?
Blah, 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 blah,
Papa Bear to
blah,
get the
blah,
baby
blah,
oil.
blah,
how much difference is there between baby
blah.
oil and mineral oil?
You're right, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You
Yeah,
get a more oil out
not
of a fatter baby.
not going there. Censorship is real. Censorship is real.
that part's always been illegal, Nick. Obviously, but what's new in sort of the current culture is this idea of sort of micro crimes within a consensual situation. Like there's all these weird power dynamics going on now, and I don't know if porn's to blame for it. I think porn is really really net bad for society. The access to it, things that we might have
Did
viewed
you
as
say
kids.
corn?
And corn is also bad for you. Tons of GMO. Uh, the only thing that's good about corn is that it costs less to make it than
Mm.
it's actually like because of subsidies there's a positive surplus for growing it. That's the only thing good about corn.
Tangent.
Yeah, so but I don't know like if corn has to do with porn, but porn but it could. And also that would be net bad for society if corn showed up in your porn. Now here's the
I
deal.
see.
Here's the deal. We are in a listen. I don't know how we're going. I don't know how we're going to back out of it. That's the thing. I don't know how we're going to get back to. It seems like the cat's out of the bag, and now we're all feral. But I don't know how we're going to back out of this because, again, things that we would consider at maybe softcore porn is just a regular Instagram post today. It's just a regular, hey, I'm on the internet. Now what effect does that have on a 5-year-old that has access to that? Like I know for me and you, Nick, where our kids had access pretty late in life as it goes, but there's a lot of kids with phones in their hands and devices in their hands. And what happens when you repetitively see porn or
Hey,
sexualized images
well, let me ask you this, Chris.
from that age forward? And so now what happens? Well, let me say this because
Yeah, go ahead.
because here's to the point. Because now what happens is you have a consensual situation, and then you have like I heard about this case where sex is consensual, and then the guy takes the condom off and doesn't tell her. Now you've committed a crime. But that used to not be a crime. That used to just all be consensual sex, but now there's like a weird guy who's deciding like in the middle of it I'm going to do this, and it's like, whoa. That wasn't even thought about. Like, you were wearing it for a reason, you know? And now, so I get what you're saying is what I'm saying. Like, you go to a freak off, and part of what helped him, I think, get off on the larger charges is that people were consensually or being paid to show up to these freak offs. They arrived of their own free will, but could they leave once they got into a situation they might not have liked?
Yeah, and I think that so I agree that a
Which is really
portion of
hard to
that
prove in court, Nick.
population
Hard to
was
prove in
there.
court.
Yeah, I believe that a portion of that population was there on their own volition. 100%, I believe it. But what about the people who weren't? Because
Everybody
baby
comes to
oil
the way these free calls work.
laced
Everybody came
yeah,
to
baby
them
oil laced with chemicals of any
consensually.
kind, unbeknownst to those, upon which it was placed, is a crime. So even if they
Yeah,
came
that's what
there,
I'm
it's
saying.
like, hey, I came to the freak off and then they drugged me. I didn't sign up for the drugs.
I didn't
You know
sign
what I'm
up for
saying? Like
that.
that's
Exactly. Yeah,
you're right.
that's what I'm saying. But that's the weird stuff that's happening now in these consensual.
Yeah, but you have to look at the other side of it, Chris, which is
Diddy's not the first
not all
person to
the
have an
freak offs,
organized orgy.
but not all the freak offs are starting off that way. If you
They
hear some of
they
the
do. Have you been following
testimony,
the? Have you
some of
been
it,
following this?
if some of the people who've spoken about their experiences, it starts as a party, right? Like, hey, come over to Diddy's house, they're having a party, and then they find themselves subjected to some of whatever's
Okay,
happening at a
I
freak
heard.
off.
I've
So
heard and read different things.
that's also, well, no, I'm saying is
Okay.
that
Yeah.
that's the conversation, is that it's not like it's all 100% against people's will. We agree to that, but I think what I'm
Mhm.
saying is that, again, there are people who never intended to be part of this and become part of it by being drugged through what they're drinking, by being drugged through, hey, I'm gonna give you a little baby oil massage. Let me just massage your shoulders real quick. Let me go ahead and massage these roofies into your skin, And I think that's, and none of that has been part of the conversation that I've heard. Right? It's
Into
really,
your
really
into
interesting.
your
some form of
skin.
deception. That's the
Yeah, there's
point I'm
Exactly.
making.
deception inside the consensual thing. So what I mean, Nick, is that's not what I've heard and read about how freak offs went down. So he had his white parties, but if freak offs were separate from his white parties, they were a kink of his that he scheduled with his staff. These were so there's what I mean is there's no way to pivot into a freak off in the way that you're describing. His
You got to
freak
watch
offs,
the. I'll show you the
his
video.
I've seen
I'll
the
show you.
doc, and
No.
the way that
I'll
these
show you
freak
the
offs happen
video.
is Puffy, to get where he had to disassociate, he had to have all these drugs brought in. He would have to rent a separate room or like floor of a hotel. He would have to send out invitations. Like it was organized. It was organized. Whereas a party makes it sound like it was like we one thing led to another. That's not how he did freak offs. One thing didn't lead to another. Now, did he do
Yeah,
things at the
yeah.
party
It's
like
the
the Carl
label,
Winslow
right?
story? The Carl Winslow story is terrible.
Yeah. We're
That
talking about
happened
the
at a
label of it.
party, but that
Yeah,
wasn't
we're
a
talking about
freak off.
label,
That was just him
right?
being
That's
freaky.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna label what I'm talking about a freak off. I think it turned into one. Is my point. Whether it's the formal, official with licensed freak off TM, or the thing that happened after the party.
Does Puffy have the trademark on that? That would be
He better. Yeah, he's gonna
yeah.
come out with it. Watch. He's gonna come
Yeah.
out with it. He's gonna sue everybody who used it. You're gonna
We're
see
in,
he's gonna sue
we're
Time
in a weird
Magazine for
time.
using the term. But
We're in a weird time. We're in a weird
anyway,
time.
weird times indeed, and we'll see what happens. There's a new chapter
Yeah.
because again, he was charged with some crimes, not all, and he still has
You mean
the
found
potential
guilty?
benefit. Yes, he was still. There's still
Yeah.
the
He's
the
got two
potential
charges.
benefit
Yeah.
of pardon,
Yeah.
which has been floated. So we'll see.
Yeah. And it all circles around an administration that has openly, both this and the Epstein thing circle around an administration that has ties to those two people. And I'm not saying that that's what it is, but that is a coincidence. That is part of it. And if he gets pardoned completely, then there's that. There's also rumors that Sam Bankman-Fried's partner at Alameda is going to get pardoned, and he's a massive donor and supporter of the administration. Uh, yeah, like it when you said at least he's getting prosecuted for these things, I thought you meant it the other way. I thought you meant like I'm surprised anybody's even being prosecuted. You took it the other route. You took it the correct route, Nick. But I did. I first when I heard that, I thought you meant I'm just surprised anybody's getting prosecuted that's related to sort of the spider web of the web of
Yeah.
collusion with this
Yeah.
administration. So
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
so that's today, guys.
Yeah.
Feeling good about things. Let's make you feel better by talking about AI.
Mm.
let's talk about. Look, can we talk? Because this is the thing that won't go away, right? And this is kind of what started me on thinking about the headlines of today. Is the fact that you're noticing across every addressable market that AI is having this chilling effect, right? So companies are hiring less. SaaS companies are changing their business model. Real estate has slowed because people don't want to take a large sum of money and purchase a home, the buying side of real estate, I should say, and purchase a home when they don't know what tomorrow might bring, right? Will they have their job in a year from now because of AI? In my opinion, I think it's because of AI and not the other factors like interest rate. I mean, Papa Bear, you lived through 15 to 70% interest rates in the 80s, right? And we are losing our minds over 4 and 5% interest rates right now. And it's just because of what's going on. Is AI partially the cause of, well, it's not really the cause of it, but that combined with the dollar value going down 11% so far this year alone has created a chilling effect across a bunch of markets. And of course, when it comes to AI, if you show someone that it created a detailed briefing document, that's not very sexy, right? If you show someone that an
Yeah.
AI answered an algebraic problem that may be really difficult, it's not super exciting or impressive to the viewer, right? They learned this early when they showed that AI was beating the best chess player or beating the best Go player. And it's like, okay. And no one paid attention. They realized really quickly that to wow someone, to make them stand up and pay attention, sit up and pay attention rather, you had to show them video and images of what AI can do. And because of that, the number one threat created are people working in film and in photography. And what is next and what shoe will drop next. And the people that are most afraid right now are people working for companies making commercials, people who are photographers, people who are crew, below the line crew that work on sort of big um, or work on film projects as a team, people who direct music videos. Well, not really the people who direct them per se, maybe, but also maybe the people who help film music videos. So there's a lot to consider with AI. And I had a thought, and I'd love for your feelings on this, Nick, to hear your feelings on this. I had a thought earlier today, and the thought was basically that Silicon Valley is a liar. And generally speaking, Silicon Valley gets you hyped up about something and it either flat out doesn't work or it never changes your life in the way you think it's going to change your life. The latest example of that was the blockchain and non fungible images, right? Like NFTs. So we were told just a few years ago, that's how crazy it is. This was just a couple of years ago that blockchain was going to change our lives, that NFTs were a great investment, and we're going to be doing everything on the chain. We had we had guests on, Chris J. Davis, that was like, hey, let's talk about DAOs. And DAOs are great. DAOs can be great, but it wasn't what we were promised. And it was a big giant hype machine that scared a lot of people and got a lot of other people excited. It made a lot of people some money, and it really, quite frankly, ruined a bunch of people too. They lost all their money. So here's AI being hyped up again by the very people who own it for the most part. Like they're talking their own book. And so what if it turns out that AI is just a great taskmaster, a great tool for getting reports done, doing your homework? Maybe it'll turn education around forever. Like education will never be the same. Work will never be the same. But at the end of the day, it's not coming to eliminate humans from the planet, and it'll never make better art. Like, for example, could an AI ever, under its own volition, make Mr. Morale by Kendrick Lamar, that album? Could it? And I cannot see a future where the AI could do that because they don't have those human experiences that he talks about in that album. So that's my epiphany.
Yeah, well, I think the AI is going to replace the human in a lot of tasks. And the reason for that is that a lot of the tasks that humans do are not cognitive, they're mechanical, right?
Mm.
So it's just the truth of it. It's like if you think about any day in your life, like forget the work part, right? People think about losing jobs, right? That's the work. We're just thinking about a day in your life. A mess is made, you clean it up. It's not really a lot of cognitive work to do that, right?
Mm.
An AI bot could do that. Cooking dinner, right? An AI bot could do that. It's a recipe. It's a series of steps that you take. You know, it's routine is a process, right? You think about laundry. A bot could do that too. So if you take that microcosm of what you do in your household on a regular basis and translate that to work, unfortunately, it's the same with work. A lot of what we do at work is actually mechanical. It's things like translating one thing into something else. It's like, hey, can you give us a briefing on that thing you're working on?
Mm.
Right? It's not the work of the thing that you're doing that you're spending your time on. It's creating the briefing, which AI can do very well by taking your work documents and converting that into a briefing material, right? Like
Well,
creating an image. All of these things are like they're process based, routine based things that the AI can do very well, very quickly, and for what is being um, marketed or advertised as for very cheap. And I think the challenge for, I guess, society right now is that like what is cheap? Like
Yeah,
what is the cost of this? What is the real cost? Because
I
in
like some
addition
of
to
your
people
examples,
losing their
but
in addition to people losing their jobs to some of these, some of the routine things, because you don't need as many people to do them.
yeah,
There's actually a very big environmental cost that people are talking about associated with the data centers that are
yeah,
required to feed the AI. So they talk about it being cheap,
yeah,
right? But there is both a societal and environmental cost
yeah.
yeah.
to using it. And that's the bigger picture that I think sometimes people lose sight of. But that's the conversation that we should really be having. Like, is it appropriate to put like what is the toll it would take on the country if you were to put that many people in that many jobs out of work? Right, because they say they're going to switch them to something else, right? Hey, well, we're not, you're not out of work. I mean, it's just maybe we
Right.
take this job
Humans have
from you,
always
and
created
you
a new
would,
job
yeah, you
out
go do
of the
something
new
else.
thing that was made, right?
Exactly, be a prompt engineer. But no, the whole
Like
point
like there was
is
never a
that we need
database
fewer of you.
NetSuite person, right?
Right. So
Before
there's a
the
new
internet.
thing that gets created.
Right.
Exactly.
Now that's a
Um,
degree, and now that degree is obliterated by AI. And
right.
so
So
and so
that's what I'm
now there'll
saying
be
is that
some
there's
other
a
degree
cost.
you get.
There's a
Yeah.
cost to it. And I think that's the big conversation we should be having is about there will be those folks who lose their jobs. There will be a societal cost to that. and then there will be an environmental cost to, one, the data centers that are already bleeding, counties and cities dry of their water, right? There's going to be a
Yeah.
cost associated with taking up more land, right, in order to build those data centers to support the AI. There's going to be a cost associated with the nuclear energy that's being used, right? It's just, there's a lot of costs associated with what we're getting into. And my hope and what I'll plan to do is continue to talk about the bigger picture, so that hopefully
Yeah.
that becomes that is part of the conversation.
Go,
But
go ahead,
PB, you're
PB.
going to say something?
I got some thoughts. Go ahead, PB.
Well, I was just going to add that we don't have to stop at the mechanical things. I think AI has made some great strides in would appear to be cognitive um, processing, and that's analytics. The whole medical industry is now looking at AI being better at diagnostic
Yeah, it is better.
uh,
It sees cancer better.
yeah, sees cancer better. I think things like lab work will all be done by AI.
Shout out to
Um,
Function Health.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and the thing there, PB, what you realize is that there's a cognitive nature to that, but a lot of that is also still process based,
yeah,
because it has access to a lot of information in order to have the ability to recognize something for what it is. So it doesn't have to think, right? It can see based off of these patterns that that is a pattern, and that pattern says that it's cancer, right? But
Right,
I
but that's what
yeah,
agree.
PB's
I
saying. PB's
agree
saying is
that
that's
there's
that's
a
net better for
cognitive thing.
society.
Well, I know, but there's a cognitive thing to it. I just gave the examples of the mechanical, because if you think about your day, you probably spend 80% of your day doing mechanical things. So if I can take 80% of the human out of the equation, that's a lot of humans I don't need. That's my point. Now, if you're getting into the cognitive, that's a whole other part of the
Yeah.
conversation.
Well,
So you just need
I,
fewer humans to do the things that you were doing before
but
because of AI,
I,
which again
I think you're going to
creates a
lose
challenge.
jobs. I never
yeah,
wanted to intimate that I was saying jobs won't be lost because of it,
No,
but
no, no. I'm just saying other people will say that because they
that's
say
not
it's
what
a
I'm saying.
tool. Like,
But PB's
embrace it.
point is right. Well, I got some thoughts on that, but PB is making a good point here. The way healthcare works now, which almost everyone complains about universally, even when even the good parts could be better to a lot of people. I'm not one of those people who complain about healthcare. Um, I just, to me, it's just people doing the best they can for you. There are flaws in it. I learned a lot about it in my former life. I learned a lot about it watching my mom pass, and a lot of it's not great. And so, right now, what a person does when they have a tumor is they go and reach out to their network. They get on the internet. They even get on an AI and say, "Who's the best oncologist?" And they find that person and they go to them. Some people say, okay, I'm going to do the Gerson therapy. I'm going to do this. This is the process that people go through today. What PB's really intimating here and pointing to is that, like, in the future, that whole conversation will end. There will be no take me to the best oncologist. Everybody will be the best oncologist because of the very pattern recognition you described, Nick. That's
yeah,
net better for everybody. That's net better for society. We want that. That's good. Now, here's the problem with robots. Robots do really broad things very well, and they're very, very bad at human stuff, the simple human stuff. Like, if you ask a robot to pick up a box and move it from one side of the table to the other, it does that flawlessly. But if you ask a robot to uh, snap its fingers or turn a doorknob or dig out some peanut butter from a jar with its one finger and put it in its mouth, it can't do that. Like the amount of lines of code that are required to teach a robot to do that is insane. Now with AI, the speed of learning with AI is enormous. So if that translates into the hardware perfectly, then that's great. The other thing about that is humans are unpredictable. So I'm a guy who's driven an AI car for, I guess, over a decade now because I've owned Teslas for the last 11 years, right? So this is a car that's collecting data. It's an AI car, and I can just tell you that if you change something about the road that it's used to driving on, it will make a mistake. It will hallucinate. And if you do it 3 times, it'll learn it. Okay, now we got it down. But because humans are so unpredictable, it makes it harder for bots. And you could think of those cars as robots in and of themselves. It makes it harder for bots to be perfect unless the whole world is a robot. And maybe that's the future where you see all these mundane tasks being done perfectly by bots. Any task that goes beyond taking papers from this side of the table to the next, or like, I don't give a shit if a robot can do parkour. Who cares? So they show us that to show how the dexterity. Now, if you want to make an army of soldiers, so they're dexterity, so they have this dexterity, they can go fight, and humans don't have to die. Again, that's a net good. That's net good for everybody. But if you ask a robot to do some of the fine everyday things that we do with our fingers, our mouths, our hands, and ask a robot to whistle, these are things robots have a really, really tough time doing. And when you send that robot out to the grocery store, and then all of a sudden the grocer's talking to them in like ebonics, and it's talking to them about its aura and all the things that kids say today, the robot's going to be stuck. People are going to be in line pissed off. And not to mention just all the people who will like throw an egg at the robot, because humans do unpredictable stuff. People who will
That's an
drive their car
interesting
directly
tangent we got
into a
into
robot.
with robots from
Right. So I
AI.
just think, so
But
I
yeah,
understand your example. No, these are just
it's
responses to
interesting.
you. So it's not even a tangent. It's on point because you brought these topics up. And I just think that's the part where, although I appreciate your examples, you're underselling humans by giving robots this much credibility. And by the way, as an entrepreneur my entire life, I'll push back a little bit even on your point about look at your workday. You're doing the briefing. You're right about that. You spend a lot of time putting together the reports and the documents for your higher up. But here's the deal. That is not work. And one of the things that made me so successful is that I knew that. I would not even do that shit. And I learned that a little bit from a guy named Greg McCoy. Shout out to Greg McCoy. He would get emails that come in. He'd look at it. He'd delete it. He wouldn't even read it. He'd just delete it because that's just noise. Signal is this. Let me show you what Signal is, PB and Nick. Signal is this guy over here or this company over here sent money to my company. That's your only job. And by the way, you think your job, if you're not in sales, is something else. It's not. Somebody in your organization has to get that guy or company over there to send money to you. And if they don't, you got a business. Everybody does. Everybody loses their jobs. So to me, I understood that fundamentally. I learned it from my mom, right? Who's an entrepreneur. Like, you must get them to sign on the line that is dotted. That is the only job that is the premier job, right? If you don't do that, what are you doing? You're right. Everything else is just briefing docs. I hope your job isn't just briefing docs, because at the end of the day, all those docs are supposed to support the idea that this company or guy is going to send you money. So until a robot can get a guy or a company to send you money in a complex sell, I think who cares if they do the briefing docs? That's great. Like, it'll be a tool in the office, but maybe they will one day.
Yeah, no, the idea around that, and I'll just translate it to our filmmaking folks out there, is that, there's this idea that filmmakers should embrace AI, right, for the creation of their art. And it's like, hey, it's just a tool, right? Like, don't be afraid of it. Use it as a tool. And I agree with the
I do
part
too.
that it's a tool, right? The part that I don't necessarily agree with is the don't be afraid part. Because just as easily as they can use it
were
as
they
a
afraid of
tool.
Photoshop? Were they afraid of
Listen,
Photoshop? Nick?
just as easily as the filmmakers
They
can use
were.
it as a tool,
But, yeah.
so can the people that filmmakers make probably the majority of their films for, right? So we had this conversation, I think, internally, just about the fact that filmmakers aren't always making movies. Most of the time they're doing work for other people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So if those other people can now use prompts to make films to replace the filmmaker, then the filmmaker doesn't have the day job that they were using to enable them to have the
Well,
time, the
not the
money, the
filmmaker.
resources
The-
to
They'll
make
keep the
their actual
filmmaker for
movies,
now, right?
right? So what I'm
But
saying
they
is that the
but
filmmaker is
the crew will
broad.
be lost, right?
That's my point. The
Yeah,
filmmaker is
yeah. The
broad, right?
DP's
It's
out
this
of a job.
broad thing about you've got director, writer, producer, and then you've
No,
got
it's the
all
DP. The
actors.
DP's
You've got all
the
of these.
one.
Well, you got all these
Yeah.
different players. And when I say the filmmaker, I think I'm being broad, but that's it. You now potentially are turning your director and writer combo into your prompt writers,
Yep.
right? Maybe
Yep.
your
Yep. Yep.
producer is there to keep all of those projects on time and on budget. But then everyone
Mhm.
else, like you said, your DP, maybe even your editor, maybe your editor shifts and changes into and morphs into a different world.
No, yeah, you need
But
your
all the
editor
below the
still.
line people who are making their living day to day, doing day to day
Mhm.
jobs are no longer needed. So
Electrical,
they say,
wardrobe,
hey, just
grip,
use it.
hair and
Yeah, they say
makeup,
you exactly use it as a tool. Don't be afraid.
all
I
the
think that is
PAs,
a small subset of those in the
actors.
filmmaking industry who maybe don't need to be afraid and can switch into being prompt engineers. But all those people, boots on the ground, hands on, again, like you said, people, hair, makeup, lighting, sound, all
Yep.
these things,
All that
location,
stuff.
all that stuff is
All
impacted.
that
Like
stuff
that is
is
the truth. Like
all that
let's
stuff
not
is
even,
just all that stuff
yeah,
is
let's not
just
sugarcoat it.
yeah, I mean
Like it is what
it's
it is.
it's
Like that is
gone,
the
right?
truth of it. So yeah, that those are the people who I think are going to have the loudest uproar when it comes to filmmakers using. And I say filmmakers. Let's just talk about director, writer, producer, though, and editor. If those folks lean into AI, it does create a challenge for everybody else.
Yeah. It's a wonderful point because for now, the way I see it is in the short term, you'll keep your storyteller, you'll keep your
Yep.
editor. If you work for a company, there could be a producer, but there might not be, right? Like a
Yeah, it's a
producer.
different name. Like I said, project
Um,
manager. It's a
but
different role.
one thing's for sure, the CEO is not writing prompts for you. So there will be a job there for somebody to write
That's
those
right.
prompts.
Yep.
And I found that in PBA, I don't know if you think it's funny, but I always find the job title prompt engineer hilarious because you're just writing. You're not an engineer. We throw engineer at the end of all these things and these people are engineers. I think of an engineer as an inventor. I think of an engineer as someone who's working with electricity or math. And anyway,
Well,
it
it's
was
a
just a
term for
heavier degree
dignity.
back in the day.
You don't want to say janitor, you want to say sanitation engineer. So
That's what, yeah.
it's for dignity.
Yeah, it's for dignity because they know everybody, to Nick's point, is going to have that job. All of a sudden, you're going to see, look, shout out to IDOU and companies like that who are basically trying to certify you as a prompt engineer, who are trying to get you to learn AI so you can go out and get that job. Um, during the height of DEI, there was a new job in the C-suite called chief culture officer, the DEI officer. Um, there was after the sort of marketing revolution, you had CMOs that didn't used to exist, a chief marketing officer, and so they'll create some job. There'll be a C-suite job that manages all these prompt engineers. I'm sure, in the future. And it can get really complex. Like we've talked a few times on here about how long the NASA prompt is. Um, are they using it to great effect? I mean, what's the last great thing NASA has done in the public eye? I mean, that's debatable, but it is very long. We've had friends who are starting script review companies, right? So they have you upload your script, Nick, okay, and the AI pops out all the stuff about it. All right, pop, 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 pop. And this just goes to my other point, which I hope it didn't sound too crude or glib, but okay, an AI popped out all this stuff about your script. Are you going to get to make it? Did anybody buy it? Did you get that guy or company or studio to send money you know, across the internet, across the wire to you so you can start making it? Because until you do that, you haven't done any business. You're just using an AI to do the things we used to do slower. So, okay, great. Whatever. Like, there was a tool called Contour that I used for years, and you'd put your script in, and it would tell you all your beats. It'd do character breakdowns for you. It'd do eventually all that stuff got like uploaded into Final Draft and then Fade In and all these other script writing programs that we use. But at the time, it was really novel. Like all the stuff that would pop out. Well, AI does that for you now in a second. But if what it pops out doesn't actually help you sell a script or get a job, okay. If what NASA's giant prompt doesn't help them put a rocket in the sky safely, okay. You great prompt engineer. You wrote a bunch of stuff into a tool that did all the work for you. Turns out it's like, would you rather have a human engineer that gets the rocket in the sky, or would you rather use a prompt engineer to prompt the AI? So I just think at the end of the day, there's this massive leverage play out there where all this money is being borrowed and monetized to bet on AI, and you have Nvidia and AMD stock going through the roof. And if the companies that are borrowing and licensing their chips and software and buying their chips and software, same with OpenAI, with their ChatGPT, if the companies that are licensing this stuff don't make money, it all just crumbles, just like blockchain, just like NFTs. It better start having real world solutions like the cancer treatment you talked about, PB, or like the protein folding from I think a year and a half ago. That was amazing, where AI discovered how protein folds. Like if it doesn't start having real world impact in terms of wins that make companies money, you're just typing words into a field, and like you look really smart, and you have a bunch of paperwork done. So, but taking it back to filmmaking, though, I think artists are under threat because they've always been under threat. So one technology after the other. And PB, you lived through the revolution of going from vinyl to MP3s, and I'm sure there were audio files out there that were like, bump a MP3. MP3 is a compressed file. How do you accept it? Well, guess what? We accepted it. And so maybe the lesson here, Nick, is if we really are scared of it and like actually scared of it, it's still upon us to not support it or to fight back against it or to legislate against it. This bill just passed, so I don't think you can regulate AI for 10 years now, unless they got pulled out at the last thing. I didn't hear about it, but that's still on us, man. Like it's still like our job to do something about it. If we really didn't like the MP3, it was our job to like not listen to MP3s and not buy it, right? But the world's there's chaos, it's entropy, and a lot of people are doing things that they in public say they don't believe in, but love the ease of use and how convenient certain things are. So for me, I think everybody should have an AI stack. Use it as a tool to make your life easier, to do the mundane things that Nick are talking about. On the positive side, because the negative side is you're probably, because art is always under threat, right? Photoshop took a lot of people's jobs. The copy machine took all the artist jobs in the ad business in the 60s and 70s. We're always under threat. But the great thing about art, even if you lose your job at that company or you don't get to do that music video again, the great number one best thing about art, and I would say entrepreneurialism as well, is that it's completely permissionless. It's permissionless. So even if an AI can do it, it doesn't mean you can't do it. That's the great thing. Just because there's a sample, just because the sample, like Logic, like can play a drum beat, doesn't mean you can't go to the garage and play drums. So, do your thing. Don't let it discourage you from doing art. Don't let it make art meaningless. That's the key.
Yeah, and PB, I was curious. I know that you'd planned a things we should know. Do you have one of those for us for today? Is that a thing that you've got lined up?
I,
Ooh.
I do. And guess what? It is AI related.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. There you
God
go.
dang it.
All right. Well, I'd love
Uh,
to hear it, PB. What you got?
Thank you for
Well, well,
making it AI related things we should know. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
you want to go straight to it?
Well, wait, is it do we need to pay some bills with it though?
We do need to pay some bills.
All right, let's pay some bills with it. Shout out to today's sponsor, IDOU. Feel like you're falling behind on AI a little bit? Worried your organization is pulling ahead without you? Common feeling. Boost your impact and drive your team forward with IDOU's online learning experiences, including the new AI and design thinking programs. You'll master machine learning with IDEO's signature human centered programs. IDOU has a whole suite of AI and design thinking programs that will show you how to combine AI tools with human centered design to boost creativity, speed up insights, and solve problems in new ways. Now, Nick, I am currently enrolled in storytelling for influence, and I have to say, these courses are A.
A plus plus. Now, I'd have to agree with you, my friend. I'm really enjoying the Unlocking Creativity course, as
Mm-hmm.
well as, because, I do two courses at once because I'm like that, Cultivating Creative Collaboration. These are two courses that I think are great for creatives. They're great for filmmakers because they really help you get through some of those blocks, creative blocks that you might have personally, as well as with a team, because we know filmmaking is a collaborative effort. So it's awesome to take these things where you can unlock your personal creativity, get creative confidence in yourself, as well as the collaborative creativity. Get over those roadblocks. Think about diversifying the thinking from a team, making sure that if you get stuck on an idea that you can get past those obstacles and move forward to whatever you're creating. So it's really cool. Those two courses I love. So yeah, IDOU is definitely an awesome platform for people to just be creative.
Yeah, 100%. I've got my eyes on a few courses, and I'm so glad to have them as a partner. So listen up, guys. Class starts soon, so enroll today. For a limited time, IDOU is offering our listeners 15% off site wide. These are not cheap courses because they're high quality. So you're going to want that 15% off. Go to IDOU.com/make it. That's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. One more time. It's IDEOU.com/make it for 15% off. Enroll today. Is there a new normal? Because normal has changed. Normal skincare routine 20 years ago, maybe a bar of soap and a rag. Now, a 5-step process of serums, actives, slugging, red light masks. And over that time, taxis became ride shares and TVs became streaming and maps became GPS. But the one thing that hasn't changed is healthcare. No, healthcare has stayed in the past. Your normal annual labs, same 20 basic markers. No hormones, no inflammation, no metabolic insight. And if those limited tests came back in range, you were told, hey, you're fine, even when you didn't feel fine. So let's be honest. If the old version of normal worked, we'd all feel better than we do. So I chose Function because it's the only health platform that gives you access to the kind of data most people never see and the insights to actually take action. Inside Function, you can test over 160 biomarkers. This many tests would normally cost like $5,000 or $10,000, right? It's an insane number. With Function, not even close to that for a membership. So this is an annual membership, not even close to that. 160 biomarkers from heart, hormones, toxins, inflammation, stress. You can also access multi region MRI and CT scans. This is all possible with your Function membership. It's a near 360-degree view to see what's happening in your body. So that's why health leaders like Dr. Mark Hyman, who you may have heard of, Dr. Andrew Huberman, Dr. Jeremy London are all behind Function Health, and what wonderful partners they are. Function is what happens when healthcare catches up. Medical grade insights tracked over time and explained in plain language. Welcome to the new normal in health, not the outdated version you grew up with. Your baseline, your body, on your terms. Learn more and join using our link. The first 1,000 get a $100 credit towards their membership. So visit www.functionhealth.com/make it, or you can use our gift code MAKEIT100, MAKEIT 100 at sign up to own your health. Again, that's www.functionhealth.com/make it, or use the gift code MAKEIT100 to get $100 off your membership today. And now back to the show.
We want to pay some bills for the Make It Podcast online shop, and that's where you need to go. We've got buttery soft T-shirts. You ever had?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh over the read. Go ahead. When you say buttery, it gets me every time.
Yeah. Did you know what? They're buttery soft. Yeah, but you
I
can't
did
eat
know
them.
that.
Yeah,
No,
we
you
have long and
cannot.
short sleeve.
You
We have
can
long
spread
and
them
short
out.
sleeve. Yeah, you can. You can. As well as hoodies with both pull over and zip up. We have hats, much
Mhm.
more. But just go to cottonbureau.com, search for the Make It Podcast, and find your favorite apparel
Mhm.
in your favorite colors, some emblazoned with many of your favorite cities, like Los Angeles, New York, London,
Hey, man,
Toronto, Tokyo,
Papa Bear, I need to
Chicago.
get more cities in the store. So my
More
bad.
cities?
I promised our friend Will Piranello that I would have San Francisco in the store, and I started making it and I didn't finish it. San Francisco's going in the store. We're going to
Okay.
have more
We need to have
cities
San
in the store.
Francisco.
Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
And yeah. Um, so don't wait. Go to cottonbureau.com, make your own personal Make It Podcast connection, and shop.
Okay. Listen. Go to cottonbureau.com,
And search for the Make It Podcast.
search for the Make It Podcast, and
And
pick up
then
some of the gear. Where
go through our
where the journey.
inventory.
That's
Look at
right.
what we
Where the
got
journey.
there.
Where the journey. There's a lot more to come with the shop.
Yeah. More
We're a
colors.
small team. We've been focused on a lot of different things, but there's more to come. There's stuff to be excited about. So, yeah, definitely do that. Support us when you wear it. You wear your journey. You support your own filmmaking journey. You support this podcast and its efforts. So do your thing. Papa Bear, drop us some things we should know.
Okay, we've been talking about AI, but where did all that get started?
Uh,
You want to
is
try
that rhetorical? Is that rhetorical, or is that the question?
It is. It is rhetorical
Okay.
because it started with AI, artificial intelligent characters in film. So, who was the first AI character to appear in a feature film? And you can have three shots. Who was that? What was the name of the film? And what year was the film released?
Oh
If you
wow.
want a hint, I'll give you an example. How about Ava, like in Ex Machina?
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't the first. Megan in the Megan films. Those are AI characters. Characters that are artificial intelligent beings or entities. So,
Yeah.
who do you think was
I
first?
loved Ex Machina too, and I'm not sure if this story is correct, but I feel like A24 bet the farm on Ex Machina and won. And the way they marketed it, the way it was cast, what it was about was ahead of its time without being too ahead of its time. What a great movie. And what a great actor Domhnall Gleeson is. What a great actor Oscar Isaac is. I don't want to see that go away, PB. I don't need AI representations of those guys. I need those guys. Domhnall Gleeson also in one of my favorite movies, About Time. go see About Time if you haven't watched that, especially if you want your heart ran over by a tractor, as my boy Jason McConnell says. Wow. So Ava wasn't the first, huh?
No.
Was it the bot in Austin Powers that shot bullets out of their titties? What were their names, Nick?
Fembots.
They were called what? Thought bots?
Fembots.
Oh, filmbots. I thought you said thought.
Fembots.
I thought you said thought bots.
Nope, fembots.
No. What if there were thought bots though? Is that a net good, PB? Is that good? Is that like detecting cancer?
They already exist.
They do, but they're not everywhere. They're not everywhere.
Yeah, they are. You see them twerking all the time.
Hey man, these deep fake porns on the internet, those are bad. Those are net bad for society. Those are scary.
Deep fake anything is bad.
Yeah. So fembots, Austin Powers, 1990s. Ooh, was Austin Powers the late 90s, right? 98.
Yeah, it's before then.
But that's got to be before that, right? Stepford Wives. First Stepford Wife. What were their names though?
Man.
Yeah.
What were their names?
The
housewife in the Stepford Wives, and then the movie Stepford Wives, and then the year was 1968. How's that for a terrible guess?
That's a great terrible guess.
Yeah.
I think that's a really bad one.
Sitting here thinking about the
you're gonna have to go further back.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the movies.
Nick knows already. He looks at me. He knows I don't learn my lesson, but Nick knows to go back to 1914.
There you go.
He knows.
There's got to be a song for that, like there is for the year 2000.
How would that go, Nick? Can you sing that? Can you sing what the 1914 song would be?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if you have to spell it all out, but it's probably, is it year 2000, or if you were in the 1900s, they wouldn't say the 19 part, right?
Yeah.
In the year 14.
Yeah, exactly. In the year 14. Shouldn't there be some tap dancing though? Like if it's going to be 1914, shouldn't there be like some step and fetch it action if it's going to be 1914?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know what this is. I feel like it's the 70s, and
he's not going back that far. He's going 1970s.
Yeah, because he said AI, and it's like what is an AI at that time? Is a robot?
Can I please change my guess? Can I please change my guess, PB? Nick just
do you remember there was a TV, there was like a TV show I think that turned into a movie.
PB, can I please change my guess?
Robinson. What is the?
Oh, you're talking about Lost in Space?
PB, can I change my guess, please?
Yeah. What?
Robot.
My guess is Hal.
Hal.
That's it. That's the guy. That's what I'm talking about. Hal.
I think it was Hal 9000.
Yes. 9000.
What is that
Stanley
from?
Kubrick.
That's
1970.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's 2001. I keep saying, I was about to say that. I'm sitting here going 12,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I'm like, it's a number, but it's not that.
2001. That was the most popular movie in like 71.
Exactly.
So 71. So I'm guessing.
So
that's why I'm changing my guess to.
Okay.
I'm changing my guess to Hal.
I was 2001 Odyssey.
1972.
But I feel like Hal was based on something else, is what I was thinking. So
Buck Rogers.
Yeah. See, because in Buck Rogers, they had a little silver guy that was a robot. But I just don't know the timing of those things. No, he was a little silver dude. He's like the dude from, who'd be like, the plane. He was like,
that was a midget. That was a real person.
I know. So was the robot dude who was wearing the little silver suit. That's my point. Like it could have been him, and he's not a midget. He's a little person. Come on, man. Come on, he's a little pissed. So, but he wore a
Since
silver
when?
suit, and I don't remember his name.
Your
Don't go,
wokeness went out with
don't go.
DEI,
Yeah,
huh?
don't go woke on me. It's been midget since I was
I'm not.
born.
I'm not. I'm just saying,
That's
it's a
what
little
about a
person.
dwarf?
They prefer.
Man,
They
no
prefer
one taught
that.
me little. No one taught me little
Dwarfism.
person
Well,
until
you're not
like
a dwarf.
5
You
years
might
ago.
have dwarfism because
Yeah,
not
dwarfism.
all,
Yeah,
but not all little people are
yeah,
dwarves, right? Because some people
that's
are
correct.
acon. So anyway,
So
I
your
was just
guess
it's those two people. It's
The
Hal, and I
midgets in
don't. I
my
think
high
it's
school got
Buck
mad if you called them
Rogers.
dwarfs.
Yeah, I think it's Buck Rogers because every man at the time it was
the
Snow White
robot
and
in
the
there.
Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a robot that had. So anyway, Hal, or I think it's the Buck Rogers. I just don't remember which came first, to be honest. But while we're on the topic, I think it's like
The
when I
topic
think
of little
about
people
AI,
or
I
Buck
don't think
Rogers.
about robots. I think
Mhm.
about characters like Max Headroom,
Oh,
Yeah.
right? Like
that was a
it's
commercial.
well, no, he wasn't just a commercial. He was on commercials. He was in commercials, but he had his own intelligence. But I love the fact that they always kind of like, made him stutter a little bit, right? Like he wasn't quite right. He was a work in progress. And I thought that was a really cool character. But anyway, I don't know who it is, but yeah, Hal was the first one that came to my mind. But Buck Rogers, I just don't know which one came first. Go
Yeah.
PB. What you got?
And I'm really disappointed that neither of you mentioned Gork from the day the Earth stood still.
You
Man,
remain
no, you say
disappointed in us.
Gork, all I think of is Mork and Mindy.
Oh, you never saw the day the Earth stood still?
No, I don't think I did. But I remember the name Gork. When you say Gork, I'm like, Mork? No, that's a different character.
I saw
Robin
that
Williams.
movie PB
Yeah.
10 years ago, and I gotta say that's one of those ones that just didn't hold up.
No. Yeah, the technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's
But
your
respect
answer.
to it at the time. Respect to it at the time.
We're going to go all the way back to 1927. 1927.
You were right the first time, Nick, when thinking go way back.
Oh,
The
man,
first-
I didn't know. I didn't know I don't know anything that happened in 27, bro. Come on now.
The first AI character,
Warren Harding.
in a feature film was False Maria in the 1927 film Metropolis. It was directed by Fritz Lang.
Wait a second.
What?
Wait a second. What does she look like? She's not
Kate, bring up Kate, insert a picture of False Maria, please.
Oh, hold on a second. Now I'm gonna have to look it up myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
Metropolis.
Metropolis
What was
is a 1927 German expressionist science fiction silent film.
Yes, she's silver. Yes,
She's silver. You're
I
gonna have
know
to make
her.
a Lego of her.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So you're sure this was an
She's
AI,
on the
not like a
cover.
Frankenstein?
she's a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the thing where I'm pissed. I think there's a relationship between that and Buck Rogers. I swear.
No.
She is. She is. So False Maria
No.
is the Maschinenmensch.
I talked to Buck Rogers and he said he didn't know her.
Right, Maschinenmensch. That's what it is. And Thea Vaughn. That's hilarious.
Thea von Harbaugh.
Thea Vaughn.
Starring
Shout out to Theo
Gustav
Vaughn.
Froelich.
Who?
He's just
Gustav
saying words
Froelich,
now, man.
Alfred Abel, Rudolf
Bless
Klein
you.
Roga, and Bridget Helm. This was a German
Bridget
film.
Helm is the robot
Oh, it's
in
a
Human
German film. Okay.
Disguise.
Yeah, she played the robot. It was set in a futuristic urban dystopia and depicted the first fictional character with artificial intelligence in a film.
Yeah, I knew about this one.
I love that. That is definitely a thing we should know. Can you give me the name of the film again, PB, please?
Metropolis.
Metropolis. Now, what was the name of the film that came out a year or two ago that cost a ton of money and kind of flopped? from what's his
Scott.
face? Had Adam Driver in it.
Mm.
Megalopolis. Was it
Oh
called
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis? Was
yeah.
Are those two movies related at all? PB in your research, Metropolis and
No,
Megalopolis?
not at all.
No.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
not in content or context either. But it's crazy because Chris, if you see the machine mensch that is in this film, you'll know exactly. Like when you see the image of her, it's iconic. Like it's as iconic as the mask from Phantom of the Opera. Like it's, but
I actually
yeah,
think I
I've
could
never,
picture it in my mind,
yeah,
and PB, I appreciate you dropping these things we should know on us, because once the conversation around these types of movies got started, all kinds of things started pinging in my brain, like Knight Rider, and like just all the different types of attempts filmmakers and showrunners have made over the years and decades to give us a vision of a world that isn't completely human,
Yeah,
whether it be dystopian or sort of a blend. Like I think about the juxtaposition between the books A Brave New World and 1984, right? And they're laying out two worlds, and neither one of them you're going to like. But I would say you would probably like A Brave New World better than an Orwell-esque world in 1984. So,
it was
but
one of the first
they've
films
been teaching
that
us about this for a long time.
that got the science fiction genre started. And the interesting
yep.
thing is that they thought of this concept before there was even sound in films. So this was a silent film.
Right. Yeah.
And the industry hit AI before they hit sound.
It's unbelievable. It just goes to show that subscription to, um, the Sundance Channel, or that subscription you have to, uh, what's the other channel? Not IMC. There's a channel that plays just older movies, and I can't remember the name of the app now for some reason. I'm losing my mind. Um, but Criterion Channel and all these, there's a lot of value in these things, because you can go back and watch movies and you'll be surprised at how
Yeah,
many ideas have been recycled, in your contemporary sort of film viewing. It's
yeah.
a lot has been done. There's so many movies I have to go back and watch. So anyway, PB, thank you so much. That is definitely a thing we should know. Nick, before we wrap on this indie talk, is there any words of encouragement, anything you've seen with your ear to the ground in AI like you have it, that you would give to creatives, filmmakers, songwriters, painters, photographers about AI, and what the next 5 years might be mostly normal, but the next 10 years, you have any thoughts about what a best case scenario positive outcome could be for these individuals?
Yeah, the best case scenario is don't make yourself obsolete. Learn how to use the tools to hone and improve your craft. So the thing is that if you don't embrace it, you're against it and you'll be pushed away. Period. They'll find something that's cheaper, not better, right? It'll be cheaper and faster than you to produce stuff, right?
Efficiency.
But right, but you as an artist in whatever it is you do, you're going to be better. Your quality is going to be better. Okay?
Mm,
From a creative, from a, like you mentioned earlier, Chris, the uniqueness, the thing that the bot can't do, it's recycling ideas where we're
yeah.
coming up with unique ones, right? So you have unique ideas. How do you bring your uniqueness, match that with the tools to become a better version of yourself? That's the key.
Yeah.
That's it. Because even like we talk about editing, these AI tools can put together a short film very, very well, right? Without the need of an editor. But if you bring an editor who understands these tools, you're going to get a better product. You see, that's the difference, is that you can get stuff out of AI, but if you want great stuff, then you work with the people who have the creativity, that human essence that AI cannot copy.
Yeah.
That is what's going to keep you relevant. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, doesn't matter what role you have, learn it in order to make your skills better. And then, your industry, your area will have a hard time making you obsolete. That's all I got to say.
Right. Yeah. Really well said. And kudos for that. I think you have to learn it. That's why I say everybody should have an AI stack and learn everything they can about it. Again, shout out to our sponsor, IDOU, because they're going to help you get up to speed on that as fast as you can. There's a lot of other tools, and then just using it and playing around with it, seeing its limitations, what it can do and can't do. The other day I was trying to convert a bunch of videos, 25 videos, into one succinct audio file that played like a podcast. And, Manus couldn't do it, but Google's Notebook ML or LM can do it. I might have the M and the L inversed right there, but it could do it. And it was, you have to find out what tools can do what and how, but certainly you kind of have to embrace it. It to me, I take it back to all the things that have happened to artists in the last 3 or 4 decades that in one way are a small tragedy, but you have to keep rolling with the punches, because I haven't ever met an artist who could stop doing art. Like you can't just stop. You have to express. It's a thing. It's a drive, a motivating, intrinsic motivation within you. Like you have to express an idea musically or through film, visually, or whatever. And so you're not going to stop. But think about that. I mean, you had sampling come along, you had the digital workstation come along, you had MP3s come along, you've had then you had software workstations, so DAWs come along. So now anybody can wake up and make, like right now we live in a world where anybody can wake up, make a purchase, and make what sounds like music in about an hour using a number of programs, whether it be Logic or Ableton or Pro Tools or whatever, right? Then Photoshop came along, and there was a huge cry about that, and Illustrator came along, and then everybody that was using the handwritten sort of tools to draw, um, were pissed about that. But guess what? It turned out that those people who were using the forget what it's called, it starts with a W. Forgive me forgetting but you used to have a pad and you draw on that and it'd show up on your screen. But of course, there were the artists
The
that did it before
Wacom
that.
pad.
The Wacom pad, yeah. There were people who did it before that, right? But turns out that all those people, to your point, Nick, they ended up making the best stuff out of Illustrator, and all the photographers made the best stuff out of Photoshop by not disregarding the tool, but by using the tool. And then there was this sliver of people in all those different art forms that said, we're not going to use any of those tools, but that became their niche. Like, so I think of my late friend, Stacy Weidlitz, who's widely known for writing the song She's Like the Wind from Dirty Dancing, but he wrote a bunch of other songs too. He wrote the in credit song for Pocahontas too, and did a bunch of other stuff. But rest in peace, Stacey Weilitz. But he would take black and white photos, but he had interesting people and interesting locations, and that was his niche. So I think we see a world like that. I can imagine a world like that, Nick, where you just keep going, you learn the tools, and if you are already better than most people today, you're going to be better than most people with the tool as long as you adopt the tool. Um, I think the only question is what will it do to the economy, but that might be for a whole other. That like will it, like we know it's going to drive energy prices to zero if it's deployed correctly, and that's why I tell everybody to invest in rural land as fast as you can, because someone will come and buy it from you for data storage farms and energy. But um, it'll drive that to zero. But will it drive like the fee that the union has negotiated for the Directors Guild, for example? Will it drive that fee down, or will the director get the same fee that they've always gotten, but for doing a lot less, for doing like prompting or like, you know what I mean? Like, will the economy be such where people can still be rich doing things within film because the product you make is scaled? Or just will scaling not matter? That is really interesting. Maybe we talk about that on another indie talk, but that's an interesting idea to me.
Well,
PB.
you just went through the evolution of media formats, and it's going to evolve again. It just goes with technology, and at some point in the future, AI will be the past in media formats and tools, and there will be something else. So embrace it, like we were saying, and make the best possible content you can using it, and then wait for the next thing.
Or
Because
make the
technology,
best possible content you can not using it. And both will have a lane is my thought. Both
sure,
will have a
yeah,
lane, but if you don't use it, just know what you're doing the next point,
yeah,
because not adopting that tool could end up being a massive error of judgment in the long run. But art is permissionless. You don't need anybody's permission to do it. So choose how you want to do it. But I think you're right, Nick. You gotta learn how to use the tools, or be washed away.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, this is great, guys. I appreciate that, because this conversation, because it's like you said, I got my ear to the ground with AI and using it in different capacities. We use it here on the podcast for a variety of things, and I think it's important to just keep the dialogue open. I'm looking forward to the next guest conversation that we have, to open this conversation up to them, to find out how they feel about it, because it is a conversation. It's bigger than the three of us, obviously, and we want to know how people are reacting to it, how they feel about it. And that's what we have our various platforms for. So, social media, find us out there and provide comments. Let us know how you feel about it. This episode, that you're going to find on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, or of course, if you're watching this because you love looking at us doing our matching thing that we do, then you're checking us out on YouTube. And just put the comments down below. Like, tell us how you feel about AI. Like, embrace it, not embrace it, love it, hate it, use it, not use it. Like where do you stand? What do you feel? We want to hear it all so we can talk about it. So I appreciate you guys for having the conversation, and hopefully our audience will get in on it as well.
Likewise, if you want to do all that stuff Nick talked about, you can search for the Make It Podcast on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. You can search for the Make It Podcast on your socials, or just go to _ Make It Podcast. That's Instagram, TikTok, and X. I wanted to give a special shout out to Papa Bear and his hair tonight. It is extra luscious. It is extra luscious. Your locks are like a man's dreams. Now, Nick, you've given up on that dream long ago, but if you're growing hair, it's a man's dream to have what you have right there. If I can only get there, PB, if I can only get there.
it's
Anyhow, I agree with
limitless.
Nick. Yep. Great conversation. Thank you, PB, for the things we should know and the additions. Thanks to all our sponsors. And for everyone out there, please reach out. We love the engagement. Keep it up. Lots more to come. And with that, can you please leave us with the credo, Nicholas?
Of course, to our filmmaking friends, family, fans out there, be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Nick, Papa Bear, talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
See you
again, guys. Yep.
Peace.
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 Bye, everybody.